This is Stars and Scopes with your friend Uma. Updated every new and full moon with guidance based on planetary transits in the current sky and extra support from tarot. For accuracy, take a look at your rising sign first if you know it, and do feel free to listen to your sun, moon and rising if you'd like the full picture. If you're interested in your birth chart, check out the readings page at umaruby.com. And if you'd like to support the work, head over to buymeacoffee.com/umaruby and you can buy me a coffee. Finally, if you're a visual learner, look up Uma Ruby Tarot on YouTube and you can watch and learn. Okay, let's take a look. Hello Aries and Aries rising, welcome to your horoscope for the full moon in Aquarius happening on August the 12th at 11:36 a.m. if you're in the southern hemisphere with me. So in terms of ritualizing or spell casting, best to do it the evening of the 11th or the evening of the 12th. I didn't do this. There we go. Okay, you got a couple of extra seconds there, Aries. Congratulations. Welcome to your reading and welcome to a beautiful moment for you, Aries, to, I guess, hold up or no, I'm not, there's no silencing here, and every emotion that you're feeling at the moment is really valuable, and there's some interesting energy going on here. The full moon is happening in your 11th house, which is the house of your greater human experience. It could be to do with like community and friendships, things like that. What community it is that you belong to, or what community it is that you sort of identify with. It could be to do with your greater understanding of human consciousness as a whole, depending on how deeply you go down rabbit holes. But a full moon would be a great time to relinquish some of the worry, I think, in terms of those things, or also some of the disappointments. Saturn is still in Aquarius, so that planet of restriction and rules and sort of binding, still there. It's in a conjunction with this full moon, so it's almost like it's a full Saturn too. So that could be looked at in a really positive way. That could be looked at as a help with, you know, with the moon's energy and sort of helping you realize what steps you need to take in order to further your experience with the community, or to maybe relinquish some of the anxiety surrounding these topics. I just say that because I do know that there's many different movable parts happening all over the place in terms of humanity, and it's been difficult, and it's continuing to grow in sort of momentum in some ways, and there can be pit stops along our path where we get overwhelmed and get to either sort of misunderstand what the hell our position in society is in the first place, particularly if you're an outsider. It's difficult because if you belong to a marginalized community, then you're constantly in a state of protection. So when there's that, but then there's also the extra layers of, you know, some of the different movements and discoveries that are going on in the greater sense of the world's affairs right now. I'll put it that way. The positive side of this, and something that I really want to just throw in there quickly, how was your Mars-Uranus North Node conjunction? How did that go for you? How was your Taurian sense of self-worth, or your access to material safety, your ability to turn a coin, your talents, all of those sorts of things? What revolution happened there for you? And was it, I imagine that it probably would have been something quite fiery. It could have been a thought form. It could have been an idea of, golly, this is what I actually do. This is what I can do. This is how I can turn a buck. That could be something that's sort of brewing up for you. It's in this moon, this Aquarian moon is in a square with this conjunction. So I bring it up for, a purpose. We can talk about the relationship between them later. On a macro level, and maybe just sort of singling out the Australian experience. I mentioned it in every other horoscope, but I think it's important just as an example of the positive revolution that can happen with these transits. The Indigenous voice to Parliament is gaining such momentum and such speed, and there's almost no going back from this commitment that our new government has made some really vital steps, really some turnarounds from what we were existing under with the old governing system. So Taurus is to do with the land and with the earth and with physical practicality. But if we think about the macro experience of this land and the revolution, the sort of the Mars kind of action, that commitment, and the focus of the North Node. That's a lovely way to sort of describe, that's a nice picture to paint in terms of how these conjunctions and aspects and everything can manifest and play out in the world. For you, it could be a bit more difficult, because if it is to do with your talents and your self-worth, you've either had some sort of like eureka moment and you've been really strident and mouthy with what it is that you do, and that's in a square with the restriction of Saturn. So with as far as the rules that bind in terms of community, that there could be a sort of push and pull there. It's sort of like, well, I mean, in some ways it's sort of like, is your sense of identity a bit lost at the moment because you're not sure what community you do belong to, or you're sort of not sure if you've got if you're feeling bound by restriction, maybe you're feeling unwelcome in a certain community, or you're feeling that your voice isn't sort of activated enough. But perhaps this triple conjunction in Taurus has propelled you to say, no, this is what I can do. This is how I can generate an income, and this is what my talents are. My talents can. There's a square between your talents and between the community. So describe to me how that is playing out for you, and know that this full moon in Aquarius is going to be a really lovely time to expel some of this anxiety. The tarot card for the point in the sky where this moon is going to be, 19 degrees of Aquarius, is the Six of Swords. And this talks all about an active decision to move away. So you can see the water here is quite choppy, quite turbulent. So there's water involved in this card, as well as swords, as well as thoughts. The water is clear and flat and stayed, and that's the direction to go in. So if there has been some emotional turbulence in terms of your surroundings, of the community that you're existing in, or in terms of your friends, perhaps there's been some blowouts. Consider the swords as a protection. I would, in this moment, Aries, consider this as the truth that will set you on your journey into some calmer waters, into a space of safety. I would recommend safety at this time for you, Aries. I really would. I think that that's important. Don't know why, but it is. So this is the energy of the moon that we can work with. If you're into tarot and you've got your own deck, then I thoroughly suggest you putting this card under your pillow the night of the full moon, because there'll be some beautiful understandings that will come to you when you're dreaming about there's limitless possibilities to read a tarot card. And what we do is we drop into a space that's separate from our brain. We drop into our intuition, into our high priestess, and that's the action. That's sort of what comes through if you hear people say that they're intuitive readers, or they offer intuitive guidance. That in the high vibration sort of integrity of that is coming from that space of a deeper knowing, sort of understanding of this system. You'll find that a lot of us have the ability to understand this system more than perhaps if you're coping with some difficulty with your learning styles at the moment too. I would highly recommend tarot as a tool for going deeper than here. The swords are essential, and the swords are, you know, the truth and our ability to process information. They can also be really limiting, and too many swords can be quite dangerous. So think about them in terms of being double-edged. So think about that in terms of a double-edged truth that maybe you're dealing with. Perhaps there's something or there's things that are coming to your awareness in community that just aren't washing with you anymore, and it's not who you want to be. It's not the way that is going to help you jettison forward. And you need to move to a clearer space, a clearer point of understanding to pick up the pieces and start from the top. That could be something that's going on for you, Aries, just off the top of my head. That's the sky. And yeah, just to sort of go back a little bit to that triple conjunction, that's sort of easing off as time goes on. I know that Uranus and the North Node are still very much in conjunction, and they are forming the square with Saturn and the Moon. But Mars is moving on. You know, Mars is quite quick moving. So there will be a reprieve from this fire activation, from this passion. If you've said things that you regret, I would recommend that maybe at this full moon it might be a good time for you to apologize, or to I wouldn't say look, you know, because you're working from a space of truth. It's not if the way, there's a difference between what we say and the way that we say it, and I'm not convinced that you're unaware of that, Aries. I think that you probably, out of all of us, know the effects of that notion. So maybe at this full moon, it might be a great time for you to take some stock. And if there was some fire that you began, or there was some moments, particularly to do with community, particularly to do with your friendship groups and with your environment, if you mouthed off, the full moon would be a great time to soothe some of that. Remember the power of this. Remember the power of the moon. The moon can heal, and the moon allows our emotional body, our water, to quite physically to move. So if there's some waves to cross, this would be the great time to do it. Yeah, that's the message for the zodiac. I'm going to pull some intuitive tarot now too, Aries. So we'll have a look at what else Spirit would like to say to you right now in this moment. And maybe there might be some stuff in here. Yeah, no, I'm not tongue-tied, but there's definitely, I want to be gentle with you at this one, Aries, because I can see, I've been watching, yeah, you know, it's if you're an Aries rising, then your birth chart is an echo of the natural chart. What I mean by that is that Aries is in the first house in the natural zodiac. Aries rules the first, and so the things that are happening to us as a collective are often happening to your solo experience, your micro experience as well. So there's a great sort of similarity, a great synchronicity between what's going on in your private life, your individual experience, and also what the rest of us are experiencing too. And it's been a tricky time collectively. So I just want to be gentle with you and to, you know, offer you that space that you can, this is movable. This is movable energy. We can move from here. And if it's a matter of quite literally moving from here, then maybe that's what you need to do. All right, so the intuitive tarot I got, which is gorgeous, which is the Emperor. That's you. This is your energy, Aries. This is the major secret, the major arcana, which is in full representation of Aries. You can see this boss type scenario. I love using the modern witch for this because it is this beautiful androgyne character that has little to do with the patriarchy. I think in some other interpretations of the Emperor, we can feel quite oppressed by that energy. But I think that we can, if I'm speaking to my Aries babes, then we can work with this. Whenever you see the Emperor in your tarot spreads or in your, in your existence, this is the energy that you embody. There's a real solidity here. One, it's a great foundation of solid ground. There's a great mastery over their essence. Oftentimes with an Aries soul, there is that almost as if you've been here before, and there's that sort of moving ahead, charging forth and being really confident. Sometimes that can play up a bit because, we've got to remember our physical reality, our 3D existence. Perhaps there is not, there's more to learn, maybe. But in terms of your spirit and your energy, it's always forward moving. And it's because of this confidence. And this is what I really want to, with the Fool, the cosmic egg, the opportunity to begin again. This is a perfect, another example of Aries energy too. Look at this character. They're about to step off a cliff here. What does Genesis Pure say? See a cliff jump off. That's a perfect way to describe this energy of the Fool. So if you're about to make a big move, then this is a real encouragement that that's what you should do. There is going to be some juggling to do, particularly in Pentacles energy. So there's going to be some sort of perhaps shifting, moving of money. There's going to be things that you need to, juggle during this. But if we use the Emperor and the Fool as our guiding force and our guides for this reading, then whatever it is that you've decided or you've realized is just done and you need to move from. And think about it in terms of community, think about it in terms of friendships, think about it in terms of your environment, and also your humanitarian responsibility. That could be something too. If you're finding yourself too anxious about the state of the world right now, you're an angel. You need to take a moment to reestablish your strength, Aries, because this is where we love and admire you, is that real confidence and that real ability in your red suit, your red two-piece. Really charge with that fire, okay? And start if it needs. I've got a lot of starting again here energy, and that's all right. We can do that. The Aquarian full moon will be the perfect time to let go of some of the shackles maybe that you're feeling, or some of the disappointments of whatever, and to move forward and get ready to, some of this will come back into balance. This sort of pentacle juggling, it can be a really difficult thing when we're sort of out of pocket, or when we're sort of trying our best, rubbing two sticks together, trying to make things work. I get that energy too. So know that there's going to be more of that, but you're going to be, once you're the Emperor, then you can, 2 feet on the ground, then you can juggle. Yep, there's the sand, my loves. That's your reading. Full moon blessings for you, this Aquarius full moon. If you'd like your birth chart read, do head over to umaruby.com, and there's a beautiful menu there of many different pathways that we can take together. I've had a really bountiful, constructive, lovely week with a lot of beautiful humans in that space, and we've discovered some real great synchronicities that help me with my education too, as far as these forms of learning. It's really great to read because every birth chart's different, and every tarot card, there's an ocean, to write about. So it's really nice to drop into that intuitive space with someone and discover. I want you to know that you've got access to this too, Aries. I don't know, for whatever reason, that's sort of important for me to say. Yeah, you can learn this. If you want to learn this, you can learn this. You can do this. You can really do this. It's just a matter of finding out the best route there. Yeah. Hope that wasn't patronizing. Anyway, you can send me a tip at buymeacoffee.com/Uma Ruby. And do let me know if you want me to explain the house system with tarot cards. I was thinking about making some more content to do with further explaining some of this astrological stuff, because it can sometimes be a bit confusing. So visual learners, as I am, the tarot has great answers to the house system too. So send me a message and let me know what you'd like to see, and I'm happy to make it. Until I speak to you in 2 weeks for the new moon in Virgo, all my love, Aries, as always, take care. Bye.